Let's be real, it's tough out there right now. We are bombarded with adverts every single day. Social media's got everyone flaunting their best lives, and everywhere you look, people seem to be living the dream. But that can make the rest of us feel like we're just, well, living in comparison hell. You open Instagram up, you see someone jetting off for a third time this year, and the next thing you know, the Amazon basket's been filled with stuff you didn't even know you wanted. All because we've been wired to want what everyone else has. It's called consumer culture, and trust me, it's got a real chokehold on your finances. So in this video today, I'm going to dive into why income isn't the problem and why we're trapped in a system that's designed to enslave us into debt with carefully constructed ways to get us to open our wallets. Now, if you're new here, my name is Sammy and I recently won Money Content Creator of the Year at the British Banking Awards for our social media, podcast and website content, and now I'm actively growing out this YouTube channel, putting out high quality content every few days. So if you like this one, give us a subscribe and I'll keep them coming. So first, let's look at the cost of comparison culture. Now, here's a stat to kick things off. Studies have shown that Brits are exposed to an average of 5,000 adverts per day, and this can increase up to 10,000 in urban areas if you're out and about. And these ads aren't just ads, they're tailored. They know exactly what you've been searching, liking and posting, and they're designed to hit us right where it hurts, right in the FOMO. In 2022 alone, UK consumers spent a whopping £1.4 billion on revenge spending. You know, that splurge that you just justify because you deserve it after a hard week. I've had a real hard week. But here's the kicker. While revenge spending feels satisfying in the moment, it leaves us no closer to our financial goals or even what we really actually want from life. And don't think this just affects high earners or young spenders. A recent study found that 1 in 3 adults regularly go over budget due to social media influencers. You see the Kardashians and the Fashwan influencers sporting the latest garms and think, yeah, you know, that should be me.
Diamond earring came up in the ocean and it's gone. And there's people that are dying.
This is even the case for a builder watching this, seeing videos of other builders sporting new tools. It's not just the celebs, it's everyday consumption too, and you're fed it at mass every single day. And you watch and you compare yourself, and I'm not alone here. When I look back through my Amazon purchases before I made this video, I would say that over 80% of them are directly impacted because I saw someone do something on social media or got fed an ad. Like, how many times have you been fed a Nike ad after talking to your other half about new trainers or gym gear? But does your phone actually listen to you? Well, in short, yes, it does, but not in the way that you might think. These algorithms are so smart. They know exactly what to show you at certain stages of your life. And your social media footprint is crafting the next move, and they've got very good at it. So it's safe to say here that we're all feeling the impact, including myself, regardless of our income or our stage in life. Now, next up, I want to talk about the cycle that we can't escape, and that is consumerism. So why does this actually happen? Well, it's very simple. Consumerism is the problem. But here's the thing. They've made consumerism feel normal, even aspirational. The keeping up with the Joneses mentality is everywhere. You go out with friends and you're buying brunch, you're buying cocktails, you're buying new clothes and an Uber ride home, and you feel pressured to fit in, but it's costing you guys a lot. According to a new study by Bankrate, over 35% of adults admit to overspending on items just to keep up appearances. And this keeping up isn't just on our feeds, it seeps into our everyday spending decisions, making us believe we need that latest gadget or that new outfit or what everyone else is posting about at that particular time. So if you are feeling stuck in a cycle of just buying just to feel like you're not keeping up, you are not alone, and it's by design. And next up, we're going to arrive at debt. This is a big problem. Thanks to options like Klarna, ClearPay, and all those pay later schemes, debt feels harmless these days. These companies, they let you split payments on practically anything, and it's very tempting too. Why pay £100 today if you can split it into 4 easy payments? I mean, I've literally seen Deliveroo on there, all these other things like Pizza Express, but here's the catch. It's all debt, and it's keeping us in financial chains because consumer debt in the UK hit a record £248 billion in 2023, with much of it fueled by buy now, pay later services. Klarna alone has 10 million UK users, and while they market themselves as convenient, they are part of a culture encouraging people to buy things that they just can't afford. And it's not just clothing or gadgets. Car finance, for me, is the biggest one of the lot. Almost 90% of new cars on the road right now are bought on finance, meaning that most people don't actually own their vehicles outright. So that Lambo that you saw yesterday and you thought, cool, you know, he must be loaded. They are likely not. It's 90% likely to be on finance. And we've been trained to think that this is normal. But here's the reality. That car that you're driving is depreciating in value while you're paying interest on it. And trust me, it adds up. We've got adverts bombarding us, social media feeding us FOMO, and our companies throwing cheap debt at our way to make everything feel affordable. But where does that leave us? Well, right in the middle of lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is when your spending goes up as your income goes up, and you earn more and you spend more. It's that simple. And a study by the ONS shows that while income in the UK has only risen by about 5% annually for private sector workers, but when we did a video, we looked at expenses, how much they've increased, and found that the average food basket is now up over 48% since 2020. And that's just the basics. If we're earning more but still not saving, that means something has to change. So instead of just getting by, we need to start focusing on what we can actually make work for us. So where on earth do we begin with that? Well, I'm going to dive into some key steps which I think will help you turn from an overspender into a wealth building god. So the first step, well, it's awareness. If we're going to have to build wealth, we have to be real about it, about what's keeping us from it. Right now, we're living in a world where it's all about instant gratification. It's all tap, tap, tap to pay this, or one-click purchases over here, making it so easy to spend without even thinking about it. In fact, research shows that 61% of us make at least one impulse purchase every single month. That's a big chunk of our budgets going on things that we haven't planned for. So what are your spending triggers? Is it boredom? Is it stress? Do you buy things because you think they'll make you feel better or because everyone else has them? Start recognizing these spending patterns and what triggers them. Awareness is the first step to actually taking back some control here. Now, I'm not one to write this all down, but if you do like doing that kind of thing, then keep a journal. Or if you're like me, just actually notice them. And when they come up, you can actually keep yourself from doing it. Now, step number 2 is the power of saying no. So right, we know our spending triggers now. Here's where the real power move comes in. Learning to say no. Trust me, it's a very small, simple word, but it's the most powerful tools for keeping your finances in check. Do you want to come out on Friday? No, I can't afford it. Do you want to go here? No, we can't afford that. It's just a simple thing that you need to put into your day-to-day. Because when we feel that pull to buy, whether it's another round of drinks or an upgrade on the phone or those designer trainers we've seen on Instagram, it's about stepping back and asking ourselves, is this actually going to add to my life? Or am I buying this because I feel like I should? And I'm not saying never have fun or never treat yourself. Life is for living after all. But here's the kicker. Research actually shows that people who practice saying no to impulse buys save up to 20% annually more than those who don't. So every time you're saying no to a purchase or saying no to your mates to going down the pub on a Tuesday night, you're actually saying yes to your financial future. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Step number 3, now let's get into budgeting. Now, I know budgeting has a bad rep, but here's the thing. Budgeting isn't about cutting everything that you love out. It's about understanding where your money is going. Think of it of taking control rather than holding yourself back. And only about 33% of people actively budget, despite clear research showing that those who budget more are likelier to reach their financial goals. So what is that saying? Failing to plan is planning to fail. Take a closer look at your monthly spending. You might find you're spending way more on those small everyday purchases than you realized. It's like holding up a mirror to your habits, and sometimes that reflection can be a little bit shocking. But the point isn't to judge yourself, it's just to be aware. A budget just helps you see your money for what it really is. So set a budget, make it realistic, and remember that it's there to help you build the life that you actually want, not to hold you back from it. So step number 4 is make a plan. All right, guys, so now you know your spending triggers, you're saying no where it counts, and you've got a budget that shows you exactly where your money is going. Next up is making that plan. Here's the thing. Wealth building doesn't happen by accident, guys. We have to have goals and we have to be moving in a certain direction. We have to be working towards something. Whether that's saving for a house or paying off your debt or looking to build an investment portfolio, we need to have a solid plan. That is the key. And it doesn't have to be complex. And you've probably heard of the 50-30-20 rule. That's 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for your savings or debt repayment. But let's be real, with the cost of living these days, that's completely out of reach for a lot of people. We've seen everything from rent soar to grocery grocery prices soar. So trying to fit your needs into 50% of your income can feel pretty impossible. Instead, start with a rule that's 60, 25, 15. So 60% for your needs, 25% for your wants, and 15% for your savings or debt repayments. This will give you a bit more breathing room on the essentials while still making space for personal savings and personal spending as well. But don't forget about that 50, 30, 20 rule. It is something to actually aim towards as your financial situation improves. And remember, just be aware of lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, resist that urge to upgrade your lifestyle in lockstep. It's tempting, of course. It's so tempting, but staying intentional with your spending means more money can go towards things like building wealth rather than getting eaten up by new expenses. And so with a plan like this, you're putting every single pound to work for you, and that's going to set you guys up for financial growth, not just getting by. Step number 5 is save and invest a regular amount. If there's one thing that sets wealth builders apart, it is consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Yes, consistency. Building wealth is less about how much you make and more about how much you regularly are putting aside for growth. And let me hit you hard with a little stat here. Over 70% of UK adults have less than £1,000 in savings. And if that's you, no judgment, but it's time to change it, guys. Start by aiming to save at least 15% of your income each month. And if that's a stretch, start with whatever you can manage. Maybe that's £20 or £50 or £100 a month. It all counts. And to make this stick, set up automated transfers. It is the biggest hack going. As soon as you're paid, that money goes straight into your savings and investments. No questions asked. Out of sight, out of mind, and your future self will thank you for it. Step number 6 is cultivate a growth mindset. Now let's talk about the mentality of wealth building too, because honestly, it's much about mindset. In my case, I literally say it's probably 80% of the battle as it is about actually doing something with the money. So having a growth mindset means seeing financial setbacks as learning opportunities rather than reasons to give up. We need to stop thinking wealth is only for the super rich and start believing that is within our reach as well. And studies have shown that people with a growth mindset about money, those who see challenges as chances to grow, are far more likely to achieve their financial goals. So next time you make a money mistake, don't beat yourself up. Don't use it as motivation to go and overspend. Use it as proper motivation to help you make the better decision next time. And if you believe that building wealth is actually possible, you will act like it's possible. And that's where the real power lies. Now, step number 7 is investing for the long term. So now you're saving regularly, it's time to make that money work harder for you. And that's where investing does come in. Now, investing might sound a little bit intimidating, I get it, but it's not for just the rich or the financial gurus out there. In fact, it's for anyone with a little extra to put away, and you can start investing today with just as little as £1. And the easiest way to do it for me is just invest into simple index funds through a stocks and shares ISA. Now, let's take a classic example, the S&P 500. It's a fund made up of 500 of the largest companies in the USA, and historically it's returned around 10% on average per year. So if you're investing even £100 a month, compound interest will work its magic. So let's quickly look at the maths. If you're putting away that £100 a month into an index fund and averaging at around 7 to 10% annual return rate, you're looking at a solid 5 or 6 figures after a couple of decades. And in fact, with regular investing, you could reach a comfortable financial cushion in about 20 to 25 years. It's not fast, no, but it's steady, and that's what builds wealth over time. And the perfect video to follow on from this is my Millionaire's Payday routine, which is the perfect next step to help you guys make this all a reality. I walk through exactly how to handle money when it comes into your bank account, and most importantly, how you can maximize it. It should be coming up on your screen right now, up there. So give it a little click, and I'll see you guys over there. And it's been a real pleasure. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.